Hi everyone, this is Nick Souza from the Digital Arts Experience, and I'm continuing on with our explanation of D&D, how to play it, how it works, and how it pertains to your character. So, today we are going to be talking about spells. I already have the tab open over here. Typically this is set to actions, but I have it on spells. And the reason I'm doing this is because spells are super cool, but they can also be super confusing. There's a lot of stuff that goes into making them work. So we're going to split it up into a couple different videos just so it makes sense. You can watch them one at a time, and as you continue playing the game, you can add on more and more to it. And of course, your DM will help you out. I will go back and make another video about combat, but generally that system is a lot easier to understand. Spells have a lot of different specifics as mentioned, so we're going to jump into it and go bit by bit. One thing I want to mention really quickly is if you are a member of the D&D club and you have at least played one game with us, you can gain access to our Discord. There's a lot of members on there. I'm on there as well, and we are more than happy to help players out, clarify anything if you need help building your character. There are a few spellcasters that are tricky to play. Some are easier than others. Particularly the Warlock can be a little wonky. So if you want some help figuring out how to optimize your character or make some choices or how to play them, let us know on the Discord and we'll be happy to help you out. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at spells. And the first thing you need to understand about spells is that they require energy. You are basically channeling the forces of the universe to your every whim. And to do that, you need concentration, and it takes up energy to do so. So this is reflected in your spell slots. You can see over here that I have a couple of different slots here. In fact, we're going to jump over to first. So these are my first level spells. In other words, every time I cast one of these spells, it's going to use up one of these slots. So if I click on cast over here, so I just cast Guiding Bolt, it used up one of my spell slots. And then I can cast Bane, Bless, and Shield of Faith, and that uses them all up. Now, that doesn't mean you can only cast each spell once. I could cast Guiding Bolt 3 times and cast Bless once. It's totally up to me. This just gives you the option. This is just, the spell slots represent the number of times you can cast any first level spell in any combination you like. Now, because Grum Grum is a 5th level cleric, he also has 2nd level slots and 3rd level slots. So he's got some options for himself, but he does have to be careful about which spells he is casting. During the game, if you do not recall how many spell slots you have used up, it is not unreasonable for your dungeon master to say that you no longer have spell slots. So it's very important for you to keep track of your spell slots, because if you can't remember, the dungeon master may not allow you to cast a spell. Often we'll do our best to help you keep track of it, but remember, at the end of the day, it is your responsibility. Luckily, D&D Beyond does make this pretty simple. Now, you do have some options in terms of how you use your spell slots. You can definitely choose to cast a spell at a higher level. Now, what does that mean? Let's go over to the 2nd level slot over here. So you can see that I've got 2 2nd level slots, or I'm sorry, 2 2nd level spells. But we also have these spells which say first next to them. If we go back to our first level over here, we see Bane, Bless, and Guiding Bolt, and they are reflected over here. Basically what this means is I can choose to cast Bane, Bless, or Guiding Bolt, which they are all 1st level spells, but I can choose to use a 2nd level spell slot instead. So I can cast that and still keep my 1st level spell slots. So if you, for say, don't have a reason to use Augury, Hold Person is not proving effective, you can still use these spells at this level. And what's cool about this is by casting these spells at a higher level, you often get more bonuses with them. In the case of Bane and Bless, you can choose additional targets. I believe Guiding Bolt does more damage. Looks like 5d6. Yeah, so it goes up by another die level, which is pretty cool. And you can do that again for 3rd. You can see that Bane, Bless, and Guiding Bolt have again increased. We have 2 targets now. I have 6d6 for Guiding Bolts. And Hold Person, which is a 2nd level spell, gets an additional target, which is pretty nice. And I can choose to cast Speak with Dead once, but if I'm in a combat situation, I may want to hang on to that spell slot. Instead, reserve these and keep this one if I have a spell slot remaining for when I'm out of combat. So those are some pretty cool things you can do with the spell slots. You can recover spell slots after a long rest. There are some classes that will get them back on short rests, but don't worry, if you've used up all your spells for the day, you will get them back after a long rest typically. A couple other details for spells and to save your spell slots. If we go over to the 0 over here, these are what are known as cantrips. Cantrips can be cast as many times as you want. They do not take up spell slots. So if you are waiting for a specific moment or you're trying to conserve spell slots, you can definitely try and get by with cantrips. They are not super powerful, but you can keep casting them as long as you are conscious and meet the other spell requirements. And don't worry, we're going to go over that in a little bit. The other thing you can do is you can cast some spells as a ritual. So what does that mean? You can see here Augury has a R next to it, and that means it is a ritual spell. You can see, I believe it's a 2nd level spell, yes. So Augury can be cast either using a 2nd level spell slot, or I can take extra time and cast it as a ritual. Basically, during this period, I am channeling more energy from the universe instead of using just my own. So by taking more time to cast the spell, I can use that energy instead of mixing in my own to cast the spell. Again, the downside is that I usually have to take up more time. So let's take a look at Augury here. So the casting time is 1 minute. If I were to try casting this in combat, it would take me 10 rounds, and a lot can happen in that time. Additionally, I also need gem inlaid sticks, either or dragon bones or ornate cards. Basically, there's some sort of divining tool. So make sure you pay attention to the spell for any ritual casting to make sure you meet the requirements. You may have to go shopping to see what you can turn up. But basically, this will be very handy because you don't have to use a spell slot to cast it. Looks like I accidentally marked it, though. So that's everything you need to know about spell slots. We're going to go into more specifics about how to cast spells. What are the details? You can see we've got all these notes and ranges and whatnot and all that stuff. We're going to attack that in another video. So if you have any questions, let us know. Hop on the Discord, and we'll be happy to help you out. But I hope you enjoyed this video on spell slots, and I will see you next time.